Welcome one and all, especially a warm welcome to the new influx of subscribers to this channel. Compliments of John Levi. I'd like to carry on with a theme that John mentioned that I talk about, and that is about tears and letting go of emotions. There isn't a day goes by where I don't find myself crying, but I'm no longer afraid to cry in public. But let's have a look at a famous story concerning that, and that is the flood, the biblical flood. In recent times, I think you will agree that you certainly do have a flood in the form of information technology, a mixture of truth and lies and somewhere in the middle. But what is the flood when it comes to on a personal level? It's no different from that biblical story. In that story, and it is a spiritual story, not exactly a historical one, although these things are always played out in the material realm. That story is very much about when the world had just gone too far, had overstepped the boundaries, as it were, and was washed away. Like everything else, there is a micro and a macro. Just consider when you feel like crying yourself, where do those tears really come from? Do they come from above? Do they come from the sky like rain? Or do they come from within you? And what are you supposed to do with those tears? Are you supposed to suppress them and hold them down? Or is it not far better to release them and wash away the pains? Because I'm sure those of you that have gone through these experiences of tears will agree that after a good cry you feel so much better. Don't be put off by biblical stories. They're nothing to do with state or religion. You'll notice that all incumbents and their income is bent. Toe the line, they are approved sermons in churches and things. They never speak out because it is all part of the control system. There was a time where I also would have been put off by the Bible, for example. But it is, after all, just a guidebook. But it is the way that it is told that is a problem. Take, for example, the 4 Godspells, the 4 Gospels. Like this tree that you see on the screen, straight ahead in the picture. Now, if you think of it as being one gospel, I'm giving you one perspective, but you have 4 different perspectives. Matthew you could think of as being like the mat, the most earthly, the human aspect of the He is us, Jesus character. Then you go through Mark, what leaves its mark in this material realm, and then you start to look with Luke at the more spiritual, and eventually you come to John, and the clue is in the sound. Forget the J, it's on. It's the spiritual being, the Christed being. Nothing whatsoever to do with so-called Christianity or any other organised religion. But it is a guidebook. So when it talks about coming out of Egypt, all it is referring to is the material world. Crossing the Jordan is when that Kundalini rising happens for you, and you have that divine union between the conscious and the subconscious. It is said that daughters take after their fathers. Well, that is as much true in the metaphysical and the spiritual sense. The daughter, that's your subconscious, the ever-loving wife that knows no distinction between good and bad. It will just keep giving from whatever you feel from the male conscious side. So if you feel fear, for example, it will give you more fear. If you feel love, it will give you more love. But it all goes on within you as much as it does in the macro. You are a micro to the macro. You are all sons waiting to be born. Nothing to do with the male S-O-N, but the internal S-U-N that is within you. All you have to do is find it. That is the only debt you truly have, to find out what you owe yourself. And you owe yourself to find out what you truly are. You are not a physical vessel, any more than if you were to get in a Toyota, that you would become a Toyota. These physical beings that we reside in are part of this realm just for an experience. How you want to spend your time and that experience is entirely up to you. But there is real beauty in this realm. Spring is finally here. Scotland is set to be going into a heat wave, I understand, when we come into April. And you'll see the early signs with spring of abundance and new growth. So I wouldn't worry about the external world and all the gaslighting and fear stories that are put about. Consider what difference you can make in this world and the energy you can radiate out from yourself. If you are coming from a position of the heart, from the heart space, well, that is what you will radiate out. Remember, it is about being as gentle as a dove, but as wise as serpents. They are the twin caduceus inside you. Your angel and your demon that will give you advice, the Spock and the McCoy to your Captain Kirk. But are you really the captain of your vessel, or are you being steered and influenced by the external gaslighting? There is such a thing as free will, which cannot be transgressed, or should not be transgressed. But it is up to you to find that your true self that resides within the physical body that you have been told that is you. No, that is just the vessel, and it is described as being blood vessels. But the true, eternal, everlasting spirit that you are is within a physical shell. That is the long and short of it, really. So I hope that has helped make sense for some of you, and I really do, from the bottom of my heart, hope that you can find that Kundalini rising, find that Christed being within oneself, that we can radiate out and we can go into a post-flood world of abundance and beauty that is without all this external nonsense and fear that is continuously being bombarded at us. But up to you where you choose to focus your attention. If you want to focus on the negatives, well, you'll just attract more negatives towards you. Personally, I would look for the positives in this world and do all you can to manifest and increase those positives. So I'll end this here because I need to keep these videos short, so I have to wait until I go round to Soul Family who have Wi-Fi to upload these, so I don't want to make these too long. So I will say love to you all, and there will be another video soon. So there is that tree. As you can see, it is just one perspective. If I was to show you the other side of that tree, or from another cardinal point, you would get possibly a different picture, but you're still looking at the same tree. Remember that. Ta-ta for now.